So Jack Tronsdal. Let me just say, yeah, exactly. Let's make him really nervous. It'll be awesome. So I just want to say a couple things about Jack before he gets up here, which is to say that it's been an absolute pleasure and a privilege and an honor to have you here at the library. Everyone instantly fell in love with him, and Jack has been like our secret weapon. That seriously, I'll like, hey Jack, can you help so-and-so set up chairs? Or hey Jack, can you, literally everyone from my like 7-year-old niece to our last artist of last month, where I was like, what was your favorite part of tonight? They're like, well, meeting Jack was number one. Yeah. So hands down across the board, all ages, people have just been so, not just enamored, but really touched by your work, touched by who you are. You've really added to our island ecosystem. You've contributed so much in the 8 weeks that you've been here, and we hope to keep him.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm just really honored that we can dive deeply into your work and your process tonight. And now that I've embarrassed you, I'd love to welcome you to the stage.
I saw this person that was telling, I don't know if it was a TED Talk or a professor on a stage, but it was something of like a great scale. And he was telling this, he was giving this lecture on the importance of storytelling and communication. I'm always trying to communicate better. That's my whole effort in life. Communication is tricky, and I like stories. That's my bread and butter. And how he introduced it was the importance of starting off strong with something like Once Upon a Time, or A Long Time Ago, or some other third thing. And this whole night is centered around my epilepsy, which I got diagnosed when I was 17, which is not even a decade ago. So that's not a long time. It's not far, far away. But in that spirit, when I was a little boy, I loved photography. And I got diagnosed with epilepsy, and I wanted to enter this epilepsy photo contest. By some random chance, in the year of my being diagnosed with epilepsy, the Epileptic Foundation, or whatever, was holding an epileptics photo contest, and it was just like this perfect aligning of the stars. And it was due at the end of the year. I'd been diagnosed since August. No, before that. And so it was the end of the year, and I had taken no photos. And it was Christmas. And it was a white Christmas. It was snowing outside. And inspiration struck. And I'm like, I know what I'm gonna take a photo of. I saw the snow outside, and I guess I tethered that to something to do with my epilepsy. I don't know, but for the purpose of my anecdote, it was like, this is my entry to the epileptics photo contest. And I ran up the stairs early on Christmas morning, and I grabbed my camera, and I aimed it out the window, and then my camera was on the floor. And so I reached down and I grabbed it, and then it was on the floor again. I was having these things called absence seizures or petite mal seizures. We're familiar with grand mal seizures. Those are the ones where you're like flopping around on the ground like a fish, which I've had too, but my intimacy is with these little tiny ones mainly. And because of that, I couldn't enter the epileptics photo contest. And that's kind of been my journey throughout my art making with this. It's like inspired art and also conspired against it. Years later, I was in college, and I was in a photography class, and I took this, or made this photo to replicate the feeling of that moment. The thing with seizures, when I've had seizures, and several of my friends are here tonight and can attest to me asking this of them, if you know people with epilepsy, you've probably asked them, hey, what do I do if you're having a seizure? And I've told them, please, film it. Because with a seizure, I'm the last one to know. I have no idea what happens. I'm here, and then I'm there. It's just like you're cutting out a little bit of film. And also, I hear my eyes roll back into my head, and it's kind of cool. I don't know. And with this photo, and I took other photos like it, it was like, what is left when I am gone? I really admire this photo, and I like it. I feel like it's a good effort. And when I see this, I see, yes, that's my epilepsy. Nobody else does. Nobody's like, yes, I look at that photo of a floating camera looking at snow, that is a depiction of epilepsy, which is what inspires this evening. Aww, thank you. Oh, cool, because of that's clever. I didn't even plan that. I think it was October. My epilepsy just came back in a remarkable stride. It never left. It's always hanging out, I don't know. But the medication stopped working. And so I started having, my seizures were no longer under control. And that kind of obviously inspired me. I wanted to do something to capture that, like I captured this earlier on. And so I got together with some pals, and we made this.
Well, thanks for coming by, dude.
Yeah, it was awesome seeing you.
I'm glad you can finally come check out the house.
I know, it's been so long.
Well, drive safe.
Thanks, man. Ooh, that was good.
Crispy.
Take care.
Yeah, I'll see you next time.
Okay, first off, very solid handshake. I would hate to follow that up. Like, imagine if you were in a social situation and you didn't know, like, those people definitely know each other. Those guys are friends. And imagine if you're meeting that person and you don't know, and like you're not intimate with that handshake, and you're meeting them for the first time, and oh no, and he's like, so he's going for like a handshake. Now it's a fist bump? Oh no, don't. Okay, we're here for the hug. Still going on? Deuces. Kind of fumbled it, right? So what this film is about epilepsy. Crazy. This character, I don't know, Jack, is he has gotten sick off of this epilepsy med he's taking, and he's lost a bunch of weight on it. He's been having like blah. And so he's realizing and hugging this person because he's just did not know how to do that. He's realizing this guy the realization of like, oh my God, is that what I feel like? No, this can't be anything but this. And Eric is just, this is, get out of there. So exploring epilepsy from something other than like, I have epilepsy and this is it. And as like cool as a Wikipedia article is to rattle off, I think looking at it from kind of a different angle of like the the relationship to space or the relationship to awkward personality is a cool way to interface with disability, of what is a step removed from disability instead of what exactly is disability. But as I said, it inspires and conspires. So we're trying to make this film about my epilepsy. We've made this script. I love writing. But it's in this peak moment of me not being medicated for my epilepsy. So,
Wait.
Grover.
And so, if only the camera was the other way. Jesus Christ.
That was a scary one.
That was, what'd that look like from your perspective?
That was scary. That was scary is what it looked like.
Yeah. God damn it.
like I said, I really want it filmed. On that one, as the subtitle says, I fell on my back. And even from a petite mal seizure, little part of time being erased, a lot can happen. And I'm trying to get through a bit of script, get through this monologue talking about a seizure. The search came to an end of wanting to capture a seizure, not one on that scale. I think this is very informative and isn't too scary of what a petite mal seizure looks like.
This morning. And he'll be like, no, I'm okay though. I have seizures all the time. There's all kinds of seizures, big seizures and small seizures. And I'd explain what an absent seizure is, how they can last just a couple of seconds. And I'd probably have one during the conversation. And the whole thing just seems like kind of an ordeal. I caught one.
I'll take it from the monologue about seizures. Say hello, foot. Yeah, that's the end of the video portion. Sorry, it's hard to look at that. I really appreciate being on this island and like exploring this. Like Nikita was talking about introducing me of, oh, now we've made him really nervous. No, it was just kind of the basis of this whole operation. I love teaching and I love being in front of people, but public speaking is so scary. We did 6 weeks of a workshop series. And we talk about writing your characters as though they have to make their case to God as to why they should get into heaven. And when you have something so personally linked to your identity, so woven into your soul, wow, I guess it is. No, it's a moody moment, I get it. It's so visceral to talk about.
Tell us about the picture with the spoon falling.
Yes, I don't have it with me, but I can tell you about it.
Well, and tell us, the background.
Yes, maybe making part of a discussion would be easier. Talking just in silence is really hard. I took a photo, and it's like of a floating spoon. Imagine this, but a spoon. While I was over here a couple summers ago, I was eating breakfast, and I kept dropping my spoon during breakfast, and it created an agitation around the breakfast table because, like, why are you not enjoying your breakfast? Is it bad? Can't you say something? And I couldn't. I could just drop it. And it's hard to get your seizures under control. It's a tough thing to medicate. Coming to this island, I didn't get my seizures under control until, I think, 6 weeks ago. I thought this talk would be very different. I thought, in my original conception of it, it's like, okay, I'm gonna hold a big ball. And if I drop the ball, I'll be like, guys, that was a seizure.
Filming?
Yeah. Well, that's so if I have one, we can catch it. And what we're going to see now is something I workshopped in that class with all of the people that were in there, which I see several of them here tonight, and I'm very appreciative of them coming. And this play is being performed by people that were in the workshop and is directed by somebody that was in the workshop. And these people that were in the workshop have written plays of their own that are going to be performed later this month through Lopez Original Theater. Thank you guys for coming. I think we should get to the play.
Fall. The name of it. Nuh-uh. No. No, Roger is not having a colonoscopy. A surprise colonoscopy? Right. Whoops, forgot about my colonoscopy. Baloney. If you were missing work for a colonoscopy, you'd be missing work for an appointment. That's what you'd say. See, now he gets out last minute, and we're not going to ask questions because we're not going to ask about that. It'd be impolite to probe further. Yes, quite humorous. But I'll do it. What's another person's job? I'm not suspicious. I'm here. Yeah, Godspeed. All right, kid, nap's over. I need you to get up.
I have a condition.
Right.
Who is Roger?
Today, I'm Roger. Do you need your dog or something?
What?
To get up, like an emotional support pet?
A service animal?
Sure.
I don't think they'd let me have a dog.
Cat, maybe?
Because I'd hurt him. Not on purpose.
I cannot say enough how much I do not have time for this.
That's the first time you've said it, actually. I mean, clearly. You just hadn't literally spoken it. I have a condition.
Get your lazy ass off my stage.
Okay, I'll tell you. Sometimes, if I get up too fast, or don't get enough rest, or get too excited or too stressed, I spontaneously combust. Burst into flame. It's heavy because the shame I carry.
Don't speak. Damn it.
Are you okay? Whoops. I get this aura sometimes, like a warm aura. Can't mess around with an aura.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Are you okay? Part 2.
Your hands, they're on fire. They're burning.
Oh.
Guess you are sick. You were telling the truth. I believe you. You win. And I lose because I gotta go get someone to help.
Please don't leave.
Of course, of course. Who's gonna be around to pick up the pieces when you explode? Is that what you like? Maybe we could explode together. Hey, did your tongue burn up?
I'm very much quite careful. Oh, God. That sells it, huh? Very much quite. I know how to be careful. I know when to be careful. When I don't sleep, or when I do, something else, I don't know, unfiltered tap water will do me in. I know to be careful. I can feel when to be careful. I get this warmth of warning like spring sun on the back of your neck. I know how to stay safe. And I can, and I do, and I am. And it's supposed to pay off, and I just burnt you. Didn't even know my hands got hot. Of course they do when I burst into flame, but never before. Never.
Well, I hate this.
Yeah. It sucks.
So when you burst into flames, then I call 911.
Yep. Well, for it to be considered a serious episode, the flames have to last longer than 5 minutes. It's on the inside of the bracelet.
Huh.
It might be kind of tricky to get a hold of it through the flames. How do you forget about a colonoscopy?
Same way that you forget you're not the only person in the world. Same way you... It's just a sneaky little lie so Roger can get some more sleep or something. I like sleep. Think I wouldn't like a break? So selfish. So, what's it feel like? I mean, besides warm.
Mentally frightening.
Dying scary.
Hadn't considered dying.
Whoops.
Beyond warm. Other people's lives are happening around me. So taking inventory, I guess I haven't taken inventory. Physically, it's, I don't know. This is tough for you.
It's not great.
Well, how much until whatever you need me out for?
3 hours.
What the fuck?
Pal, it's still too soon. It is. It is. I know it looks like it, but I can't do everything all at once. I have to do one thing, and then the next, and then the next, and the next, and the next, and the next. The other day, because this is every day for me, the other day I was running up the stairs so fast doing, I don't even remember, that I got a bloody nose. Didn't bonk anything, just existed too fast. And I had to keep existing. Didn't have time for anything else. Really wanted someone to see it. Someone to see me not have time to take care of it. Just wipe the blood off to the side. It was pretty metal. Really want someone to see that I'm beating this body. I'm winning. I wanted to see someone see me. But as you may have guessed, I was the only someone around. I always feel like I'm bending over backwards.
That's what it feels like.
That's what it feels like?
That's what it feels like.
That's my job. That's my job. Sorry.
Can I just say, they only have that display for like a week.
Wow.
They just.
So this would be a great time for questions and answers. If anybody has questions for Jack, for the cast, for the director, thoughts, comments, feedback?
Well, thanks for coming.
I can start us off. I want to ask about, so when I was working with Jack, I was saying, have you written any plays? You're a playwright about your epilepsy. And he's like, it's so hard. It's so hard to describe. It's so hard to capture. Like, I got this photograph that captures it. If I tell the story about the photograph, then it captures it. And so I just wonder what your process was like in contending with this very personal issue and bringing it to bear in such a beautiful way where it seems like two characters helped be the voice of this experience. How was that process for you?
Yeah, great question. So sometimes the process of writing a script, like I remember coming to the library the other day when I really needed to get this play out, and I just like sat down within like 2.5 hours and I wrote 10 pages of a different script. And it was very frustrating because it was not what I needed to write, because like this date was approaching, and it was, there is like an accessibility in that I wanted to, like, not everybody knows what a seizure is, or like what it feels like to have a seizure, but I guess I didn't want to show what I wanted to show someone what it feels like. I want to show someone their seizures, you know? Show someone what exists inside them that too exists inside me. I feel like that's what we're all trying to do, right? And sometimes we go about it in the wrong way, right? That's you know, you get that in relationships. Sometimes we're angry to somebody because you're hurting, and you want to show them the hurt inside you, and so and I guess pairing that with, in this play, the dialogue between two people of a character who, everybody knows what it is to catch on fire. We've all done it. But we've all burned ourselves. We all know that sensation, or we can all better imagine that. And more so, we all, I feel like, can instantly understand that, I don't know, feeling tired and not feeling seen. And I don't know, maybe those characters felt well juxtaposed, and bringing people eye to eye that seemed like they wouldn't be. I guess, yeah. Does that answer it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I make a comment?
Please.
Two things. One, I think your idea of getting somebody to film yourself is kind of brilliant. That has never occurred to me as a thing to do.
Mhm.
It's so obvious. So that, and your use of "I just go on fire" is so real. It's like the worst thing you can imagine is happening. And I really enjoyed that in your writing.
Lots of questions.
I actually really appreciate this more commentary, but I really appreciate the fact that the play is very approachable as a story about more than just epilepsy, but disability in general and other conditions. And so it's very approachable for people with other conditions where, yeah, I don't suffer from seizures or deal with epilepsy, but you know, my own disability, it does feel like that. It does feel like some days I'm just going to spontaneously combust. And there are times where I'm both characters in this, arguing with myself over, well, you just have things to do because today has to be busy, and you don't have any other option. You have to get things done. But also at the same time, you have to give care for yourself or it's just going to get worse. And so I feel like this is me in from two sides.
Thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate it. That's I think that's like what is the effort in telling stories, of showing how in like a very specific case of anybody's life, we all are like that. Because what if this was like an actual literal condition of like just telling the life of somebody that actually caught on fire? It's somebody who is tired and who is exhausted and who is being beat down by life, and somebody who is going through the exact same thing but feels like they don't have the convenience of sitting down. And so I really appreciating you speaking that, because that's always the effort to make something accessible. And accessibility in art, sometimes I feel like there's a dialogue that if you make your art too accessible, you're betraying what is authentic to yourself. And I think you have to use your words, but I think it's great if you can use everybody's language. So thank you. Mark.
There's a line in the play that it's the weight of my shame or my guilt. Like, is that part of your personal, like, is that a reflection of where you came from personally, or it's...
Yeah, I think so. In the script, it's structured as it was performed, that it's delivered with, with like levity, and it's like a comedic thing, leveraging, sad internal reflection as like a way to disarm something that is, I don't know if it's inconvenient or just a situation that is frustrating or whatever. I carry a lot of shame. I've dealt with it tonight, dealt with it this morning, and everything going into it, even as, and perhaps I'll deal with it as I go home. And in the context of the script, I don't think it's the actual weight of the shame that's keeping the chair still, but just like a clever remark upon like of Drew just like being a smart ass, of Carrie's character being a smart. All of my plays have like character names, but like how often do you really say somebody's like, get out, also, what's your name? I feel like, yeah, I don't know how often we introduce ourselves to people we don't really want to talk to. Thank you for your question.
Can I add something to that too? Almost everybody has something they're dealing with. And sometimes we want to blame ourselves for it, even though it's not anything that we had to do with. You didn't do anything to get epilepsy, and this person doesn't have a mental condition by their own, they didn't cause it. So if we can all just, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. There's no such thing as normal except the washer and dryer knobs. Washer and dryer, okay? And then the other thing, yeah. The other thing is that when we're out in the world and we see people, somebody's sitting there, why aren't you getting up and leaving like everybody else did? Well, yeah, they have a condition. There's something going on, and if we and you guys will probably all do this anyways, but you know, if you see somebody, you're like, why are they doing that? It's like, well, there's probably a reason, you know, or why can't they walk up the stairs any faster? Well, they can't, you know, or something. So being empathetic, or just, you know, keeping in mind that people are dealing with stuff all the time. So yeah, but yeah, there was a oh, you first.
This is quick. It's just a comment that in the exact moment that line was said that you were commenting on, I was holding the book The Guilt We Carry.
Oh.
Just because it was right in front of me and I picked it up like just a minute before it, and I just had to share that with you all.
Wayne back.
Yeah, my favorite line was, "It's all on the bracelet, but it'll be hard to get to it when I'm in flight." And just like how often those things that are there is like safeguards, like they're gonna get short circuited in the moment.
Nice idea.
Yeah, but sometimes it feels like almost performative, or it's like yes, or like an afterthought maybe.
I felt that was a reflection of how poorly accommodated this disability is, and this, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was, I think, furthered by, well, I don't know if, I guess I don't know a lot of the answers about what I write. But there's the line of, it's not considered serious unless like the fire lasts 5 minutes, and if the official MO on a grand mal seizure is if it goes beyond 5 minutes, that's when you have to call someone, which I guess takes away some of the mystery of the play. But yeah, it's like this like weird line between of like, is this like improper accommodation of like not trying to overwork a burdened medical system, or is it just the trying, I don't know. So many questions. Health is interesting and weird and fun to write about, but very hard. Errol.
What would you, like, on the other end of directing, you obviously have some kind of MO of what you do with your writing and what you're tuning into about yourself and your life, but like on the other end of it, is there something you hope people walk away from your plays besides, let's say, reflecting or going, oh, that's kind of like me, or something like that? Is like, is there a grander thing you'd say behind that you found in your, and not just this play, but just kind of overall scope or something?
Errol was in my last play. Just had to flex that, I guess. Brian directed it.
And
Theo's here. I use your art to something. Use my art to. Communication is tricky, and so most of my stories are about relationships. I think pretty much everything I've written that has gone anywhere, or I've sent anywhere, is between two people. And it's, regardless of, like, I never want a message to be forced on the audience of like, wow, I need to be kinder to strangers, or I need to do something, but it's just something of like, oh, I see myself in a similar cycle to this couple, or I see myself as these characters are seeing each other. I want people to feel seen, And I feel like the more specific we are in our writing, the more that is apt to happen. Sometimes the inclination is to go like very cookie cutter and write broadly, because it's like the more general we are, the more people will attach, but people aren't general. We're very specific creatures. And so I think I want people to have something to like, oh, that's me, which I think happens, and I know that is what I relate to in art. I find something that is, you know, a relationship or a part of communication, or like two people are talking and the third person, his voice isn't being heard, and like the two other people don't really care, and I'm like, why is this person, why aren't they, or it's just little exchanges, just creating like little moments of social interaction. I don't know. Yeah, I guess that. Sako.
Yeah, this is maybe also a question for the wider panel as well. I'm curious about any thoughts or process you all can share about the writing and performing of this script in relationship to your experience with the writing workshop.
I'll go first, because I would bring, for a lot of our scripts, we would bring in writing unfinished. We would bring in a couple pages, and we would maybe have like 2 pages of what would turn into a 5-minute play. I remember bringing in this script twice, and the first time I had, I think, 4 pages, and this is an 8-page play. And even when I had all 8 pages, we would kind of read it and then platform it to everybody, and it's like, okay, where can this play go from here? I want it to go here, how might we get there? And that's the wonderful thing about working together, because it's then kind of like everybody's, even if not everybody is like the actual author typing, it's like when people, it's like I see myself in that, then it's like I would see myself getting there like this. And so that is how the workshop would affect the writing process. We would put stuff out, and then we would kind of workshop how to go beyond the story beats.
Throwing out ideas to each other and you can use them like you can. Want to.
Could you repeat the question again?
I mean, this is generally trying to pull. I'm so curious. Over the last 6 weeks of the writing workshops, it seems like a lot of creative minds together, a lot of relationships formed. I'm really just curious about hearing more, and especially building up to tonight. Anyone's like thoughts or anecdotes?
Did you want to go?
I would just say that I was curious about writing plays after we had a big performance in November, and I was just like, oh, I want to try it. And I went home and tried writing and was like, this is hard. So when I heard about the workshop, I was like, I think I should get a little bit of guidance. And so I went in, the expectation was like, yeah, bring a play every week. And I was like, whoa, what? I can't even make one. But I found myself writing a piece of a play and brought it to everyone, and we all acted it out for each other, and that was probably one of the most magical things that I've ever experienced with like bringing something to life with other people. And it was spectacular, and it just like it sparkled. And so I was like, well, I gotta make a play, and I gotta finish one. And it's just like, and also it gave me the artistic liberty to like know that like I'm allowed to write a play. I am a playwright because I give myself that license. And so that was something that I feel like was a huge takeaway from the group and the energy of it all. And so that was my experience. And yeah, I don't know.
When Jack brought in his play to the group and we read it, and then he told us about epilepsy, and I don't really know very much, but told us some of the experiences he had and stuff. I'm just like, wow. And of course, I love the playwright at the beginning anyways, but then having him tell about, you know, what y'all go through and stuff, it's like, okay, yeah.
Being on a small island, I knew everyone in the class except for one person who was just on the island for 6 weeks that happened to be the exact same 6 weeks as this workshop.
Shout out Jane.
Jane, we miss you.
We miss you, Jane.
But of course I didn't know, maybe not of course for me, I didn't know anybody in the room in this way. Like we hadn't been in a writing workshop together before. And a number of us were very new to theater, myself included, and Sweet J. And for some people it was like their first foray into the world of theater. And Jack, in my experience was that Jack created a really like welcoming environment, and I could tell that like you've learned, you've like practiced the craft of feedback, and it was I found it to be a really supportive environment, and most of us came empty-handed at least 2 weeks out of the 6 or more. Anyway, and I brought like partially completed work, and I wasn't too embarrassed about that. Like, so it was a really great like learning environment, and I'm appreciating the continuity of like getting to do this together with people who were in the class. And then just a plug for things that are coming. We're actually going to rehearse this for 2 more weeks. And a week from now, we're going to get some feedback from another professional, and then we'll keep rehearsing, and then hopefully on stage on the 24th for an audience.
At 7 p.m. at the center.
At LCCA. 7 p.m.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to see how it keeps evolving, because we've really had 3 rehearsals.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So.
Did our best.
About 1 or 2 more.
I have a question for the actors. You did an incredible job of conveying a character. One just fed up, here we go again, and the other one just impatient. And listening to you, I don't get the feeling that you were being yourselves in that role. What did you draw? What was it in the writing, and what personal experience, or what? How do you do that?
I can go first.
We actually did take a workshop through the Lopez Theater thing about acting, which was Nathan
Kessler Jeffrey,
yes. And he that was actually really helpful to hear about how to take a character, any character. It could be the smallest character or a main character, and to take that character and to like find out what their desires are, and then find out like there's this whole process to like basically psychoanalyze a character. And you can find, for me, I did that with this character. I searched for what she wanted, what she needed, why was she mean? You know, I thought she was kind of mean, and I was like, why is she being mean? It's because she's being mean to herself. Like, she's being mean to others because she's projecting, you know. So you can deconstruct a character, and then for me, through that process, I find I can a relationship between that, where I'm like, oh, I've treated myself certain ways and have treated others certain ways. And so I felt like, yeah, I was able to like find a connection. I think we might be able to find connections with pretty much any character, just because we're all human. And so that was kind of my process with Amanda.
Yeah, and apparently they don't do that stuff anymore. Like, you know, think of your dead mother and your third time. They don't do that anymore. I'm finding out. And one of the my dog died today. That's what I'm thinking about while I'm trying to remember these lines and stuff too. So, and what Nathan wanted us to do, what we practiced doing was, what does your character want from that character? What does that character want from that character? And not just surface stuff. You had to go really deep. It's hard work, but it's, you know, really gets you.
It was so wild. Just for the first rehearsal, we're all sitting outside, and they're just reading the script, and Anita is asking them these really like probing questions, about like what does your character want, and like what is the most important line, and they're all just picking apart, and it's just going very deep into something that I wrote, and it was just the coolest thing ever. It was very neat, and I felt like just a fly on the wall for. It's like if you overheard people talking about you, but it was all good stuff.
It was superb. Just so well done.
Thank you.
It was so well done.
So we are going to try to, we had such a cool experience with this. We're going to try to meet once a month to do playwriting. We haven't, decided what day or anything, but if anybody wants to join us, maybe give your phone number to one of us, or if you know one of the Lot people. Also, the Lopez Original Theater meets on Wednesday nights here at 5:30, and if you want to join us, we will not turn you away.
And I want to say, the first thing I got to act in was last fall, and for those of you who were there at the series of one-act plays, it was a really great production. And I just want to say, if you are curious about trying something new or curious about acting, my experience was that it was like really a good entry with Lopez Original Theater in a series of one-act plays. Because to answer your question, how do you do that? It's like, I don't know. I don't know, and I'm just trying to learn from people around me, and ask the deeper questions, I guess. I don't know. And be directed, learn how to be directed too. And anyway, so I just want to make a plug for if you are interested in trying something new. My experience was that it was really welcoming.
Maybe one more round of applause for Lopez Island Library Artist.